What's up everyone, I'm Arkansas Storm Team Meteorologist Alex Libby, and in this video I'm really explaining why I think the dew point is superior, is the best way to measure how sticky it feels versus the relative humidity. So on a really hot and humid day you might hear, oh, it was 100 degrees and the humidity was 80%, which is very, very unlikely. That would mean the dew point was in the upper 80s near 90, which really has never happened here in Arkansas. So it's just way easier to determine how muggy it feels just by knowing what the dew point is. First, what is the dew point? Well, it's the temperature at which an amount of air needs to be cooled to reach 100% humidity or for dew to form. So if it was 90 degrees outside and the dew point was 90 degrees, the humidity would be 100%. But like I said, I don't think that's ever happened. The highest dew point I've ever seen in Arkansas is in the mid 80s, which is really, really sticky. So that's why dew point, when the dew point's in the 50s and 60s, it's comfortable feeling, it's dry feeling in the air. When the dew point's above 70, above 80, that's when it becomes really hot, sticky, and muggy. So a good example of why the relative humidity is bad, well, in the wintertime, when it's 30 degrees out and the dew point's 30 degrees, the relative humidity is 100%. And it's 100% humid, but it doesn't feel humid out there. That's because there really isn't that much moisture in the air, because the cold air can't hold as much moisture as the warm air. So let's just show you some graphics here. This is the relative humidity currently. Wednesday at 7:50 p.m. It's as high as 69, 70% in parts of northern Arkansas. But you knew today, this is Wednesday, it really wasn't that humid of a day. And you can see in western Arkansas, the percent humidity is lower. In northern Arkansas, the percent humidity is a little bit higher, but it's not any more humid in northern Arkansas. The temperature has just cooled more. So the percent of humidity in the air is higher. So a good example of this is almost every morning, the humidity percentage is near 100%. But that doesn't mean it felt humid this morning. It really didn't. It felt pretty comfortable, even though that humidity percentage was near 80%. The dew points, well, they do a better job telling the humidity story. Basically, everyone, with the exception of Arkadelphia, which I'm not sure if that's even that accurate, they might be having some issues with that sensor down there. The dew points are in the 60s, and that is a little tiny bit sticky, but it's not that humid. And you've noticed it's been a little bit drier across Arkansas lately. And the dew points do a great job explaining that. If the dew points were in the 70s, it would be extremely sticky. If they're in the 80s, it would be even worse. It'd be oppressively, extremely humid. And just to kind of show you why I like it better is you can see where the colors. The dark green color would be dew points above 80, and that would be extreme. And we're not dealing with that right now in Arkansas. And we really won't be for the next couple days, but you can see there's increase in the dew point as we head through the weekend and into next week. But really, I just wanted to tell you this video to explain to you that when it comes to the humidity, how muggy it feels out, dew point is much more important. It's really easy to understand. If the dew point's less than 60 degrees, it's comfortable out. If it's more than 70 degrees, it's really humid out. Between 60 and 70, it's just a little bit muggy. But it's important to note that the percent humidity does a great job at measuring how much water is in the air, because if it's 30 degrees and 30 degree dew point, it's 100% humidity, it's likely going to be snowing, or at least frost will be forming. But it doesn't do a great job of saying how muggy it is. That example in the winter, if it's 30 degrees and 30 degree dew point, the humidity be 100%, but at a 30 degree temperature and 30 degree dew point in the winter, it's not going to feel oppressively humid. It's just going to be a little bit damp and likely frost and maybe even snowing outside. So hopefully that does a good job explaining. So whenever you're referring to the humidity out there, pay attention to what the dew point is. If it's really muggy out, that dew point for sure will be above 70 degrees.